Are you an active learner or a passive learner? Do you every time forget the concepts that you learned in the class or practiced in lead code, and you think like you know this question, you know how to solve, but still stuck in the problem? That's because of the learning procedure that you follow. So, how do you improve it? By not passively learning it, instead, actively learning it. So, what's active learning and passive learning? Active learning is a place or situation where you learn along with applying the concept. Passive learning is a part where you just listen and understand. I know you are very good at listening and understanding as you do with videos and other channels or whatever it is. But here in Data Sci with Navi, you're not gonna do that. As I already told you, this channel is all about hands-on practice to become a data scientist. What you're gonna do, take out your laptops, open Jupyter Notebook, have any questions, refer to the video number 1. If you have any questions about the topics, refer to the video number 2, Python Basics for Data Science, and then get started along with this video so you understand how these concepts are used in the programming languages. So in this part, you're gonna actively listen and actively apply those concepts, so you're gonna remember it for longer time. Okay, so let's start class number 3, Python Basics for Data Science. Learn with Navi. Jupyter, the best way, as I told you, go into the search option, search for Anaconda PowerShell, and as soon as you open Anaconda PowerShell, and then you're gonna type Jupyter Lab. Okay, if you're gonna open Jupyter Notebook, open Jupyter Notebook. Okay, Jupyter Lab. Okay, and then if you click on enter, it's gonna open Jupyter Lab on the server, on the default internet server. Okay, so here you see I've already opened Jupyter Lab. This is Jupyter Lab for you. We are gonna practice the concepts that we've learned in the previous class. If you've missed the previous class, please go to my channel, refer for class number 2, Python Basics for Data Science. Okay, so let us read the first question and understand the first question to create it. Okay, so question 1 is, create a list of numbers from 1 to 10 and calculate the sum. Okay, now we are going to create what? We are going to create list here. Okay, so the list range is also given. I'm sorry. So the list range is also given, that is from 1 to 10. We are going to create consecutive numbers, that is 1, 2, 3, 4 till 10, and then calculating the sum. So creating list is easy, where we are going to just put this square brackets and then creating. Okay, so for example, I'm going to put list 1. Let me show how to create first. This is list 1. Just if you put square brackets, then you can create list 1. This is empty list. Okay, so this is empty list. If you want to see what is in the list, you can see list 1. So that's an actually empty list. If you're going to put anything in this list, for example, if I put double quotation, if you're writing a string, you can write a string, whatever the string is, and then you can see that particular string is given. Okay, so in Python, list is not restricted to single data type. You can use multiple data types in list. Okay, so you can use a number in it, you can use a float value along with the string, or anything is possible in list. Even you can use a list inside the list. Okay, so that's also possible. So let us get into the question, that is create a list of numbers, right? So now we have to create a list of numbers. Numbers is given the numerical data type. It is a numerical data type, but in Python we have this advantage where we do not have to specify which data type that we want to write, right? So I'm just gonna give it as list. May create a list called as list 1. Okay, so we can create a list using list function, list. This is list function. Okay, if I just create it like this, it will create me an empty list. Let me show you how it is. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, this is marked down. So list 1. So this is an empty list that is created from this particular list function. Okay, so whatever I give inside this list function, that's how my list is going to be. I'll give range from 1 to 10 because that is what my question asked. But if I give like this, the last number will not be noted because range function starts from the number that is given before, right? So it will come only a consecutive numbers until 9. Okay, see here, you see 1 2 3 until 9. But if you want until 10, you're going to mention it as 11. If not, you can even do it by an input function. Okay, so number, and you can tell the user to give the input for the ending. Okay, so I'm going to enter the ending of the list. Okay, so we are only giving the ending of the list. If you want to make the user to enter even the starting, you can give that too, but that depends. I just want to show you this. Okay, so next, this should be int because by default input function is going to only give the outputs as a string format, but I want it to be a numerical format, integer. Okay, so if you do this, and here if you just put num, whatever the number they are giving, num plus 1. Okay, because if they give 10, I want to put it as 10 plus 1 11, so the ending is at 10. All right, so let me see if it actually works. I'm going to put 15 just to check. Okay, sorry, 15 just to check. Okay, enter, and then the next cell is going to run. See, now we have until 15 because 15 plus 1 is going to happen here. Okay, now we are going to get the result. Okay, result is another variable where we are going to get the sum function. This sum is an inbuilt function of Python which calculates the sum of a list, but make sure all the values of the list variable is going to be a numerical, either number, either integer or a float value. All right, so I'll give this and then I'll print. For printing, I'm going to use f function. If you're above, if you're using above 3.6 Python, then you can use f function. All right, if not, you can use format function. I'm going to print it as the sum of the list ending at whatever the numerical, the number they have given. So this also I'm going to put here. So num, sorry, num is whatever the result is. Okay, so this is what I'm going to print. I'll So sorry, I just put here here sum of list 1. Then I'm going to get the sum of list ending at 10 is 55. Okay, so that's how you can create this function. Okay, so now let us read the second question. Create a function that returns the square of numbers. So now we have to create the square of numbers, right? First, let us understand how to create a function. So typically, function is a block of code that is written or defined once, and you can use multiple times in your program. Okay, so it is not a loop. Okay, loop is one that we can use only at that point. Okay, if you want to use again, you again have to come to that point of a place. But function is the predefined set of things that you're going to use. Okay, you're going to call a function. For example, if I give you some task, you're go- if I give you some task, you're going to define that task, and whenever the task is necessary, you're going to remember how the task is done and then doing it. So something like this. So function, you have to define a function by this keyword called as def function name. Whatever, you can write the function name. Here we are going to write as, here we are going to find the square of numbers. So I'm going to put it as square. Okay, square num. Okay, this is the name of a function, and whatever the number that we are giving that, so num will be the value, whatever the number that is going to be passed, for that we are going to find the square of it. Okay, as I told you, we'd be returning returning sorry we'd be returning the square of this number. So num You can put it as num into num, that is also possible, that gives us a square. But I also explained about this function for finding squares, that is 2 times multiplication symbol into 2. This is power of 2. Okay, so this can also be put. If not, you also have this square function. We don't have this. Okay, so this is what that we are going to do, and I am asking the user to give the input again. Okay, so this is num. What is this here? I want int of input, the user to enter the number. Enter the number for finding square. Okay, and then whatever we are going to get, that is going to be the print value. So what I'm going to do, I'm calling the function here, print of f. Okay, what are we going to do? The square of num, whatever the user have given na, that is num. Square of num is, now here we are going to call the function. What is the function? The function is simple, sq, sorry, square square num of num, right? Let us make it simple for initial understanding. 5 square is 25, right? So see, the square of 5 is 25. This is a very small function that we do, but usually we do it a large functions. This is called as function name. This is defining a function. Okay, so whatever inside the brackets, these are called as parameters. Okay, we have arguments and keyword arguments. Arguments, which means where you don't have to mention what the particular keyword that you are referring to. Keyword arguments, you have to refer to the number. We will be learning in detail about functions in the further classes, but for now we are understanding simple passing the parameter. You are going to give a parameter. Okay, take the parameter first and then pass this parameter using the function calling. You are calling the name of the function. Okay, and after understanding the name of the function, we are using this to call the parameter. Okay, that's how it works. Define a function and then call a function. First defining should be done and then calling should be done. I don't know if we can do this earlier itself. Let me see if we can do this earlier. If we can do this in the starting before defining a function. I'll put 5 again. Oh, so you can call a function even before defining a function also. That's also possible. So do as required. Okay, let's see question number 3. Create a dictionary with 3 key value pairs. Okay, first let us understand what are dictionaries. Typically, there are list, tuple, dictionary, and sets. Okay, these four are these list or combined data types where we can put more than one values into it. These data types. Okay, so list and tuple, these both are indexing, where there would be Python indexing if you want to access the elements of it. If you want to access the first element, you're going to put it as 0. If you want to access the last element, len -1, as we referred in class number 2. Okay, so sets are like dictionaries where the accessing is not possible. Dictionaries need key to access. Key is like the place where you have the value, where you are pointing the value to. Okay, that's the key. And value is, of course, the value. Okay, so let us first understand basic dictionary how it is. I'm going to put dict1. Okay, because dict is actually the function, inbuilt function. As we discussed, inbuilt Python function or keywords are not to be used in user defined keywords, right? So dict1 I'm going to create. Dict starts with this curly brackets, so curly brackets in it. If you put like this is going to be an empty dictionary. Okay, let me show again. So dict1, do not forget 1. So that's an empty dictionary. If you want to create a dict, you of course have to write a key Okay, and this also, if you're going to write a string, you're going to put a double quotation key and then colon whatever the value. Okay, this is how, if you want to create a dictionary initially while defining a dictionary, that's what you're going to give: key value, key value, key value, semicolon, key value, semicolon, something like this. Okay, but if you want to give it as again, if you want to put it as for example dynamically dict one itself of, this is going to be key 2. Okay, key 2 or key 3, and then equals to double quotation value 2. Okay, so here you see, this is the key value pair in the dict. All right, so now how do we repeat it? So values can be repeated. Value, 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 value can be repeated for all the keys, but the keys should be unique. Okay, if you do not put the keys to be unique, if you again put it as, instead of key 2, if you put it as key itself, again it will, the value will change into value 2. Here you see. All right, so it is the same one. So whatever comes second, that will that would be the actual value of the key. So key should be unique, values can be the same. Okay, so multiple times it can repeat in the keys with unique key values. That's how dict is. So as you understand it, now let us create three key value pairs representing data science toolkit. Okay, what are the things that we need? Let us represent that. Okay, so now first I'm going to create ds dict. Okay, data science dict, I am naming it as, and then what do we say, curly brackets, and my first key is going to be language, because here already we've given language, colon, and what else do we need? We need python first. Okay, single quotation, semicolon quotation, whatever is comfortable, and then comma. One more, what else do we need for data science? We need libraries like pandas. Okay, so I'm going to put libraries, and this should be in the double quotation, right? Colon, and then pandas, comma. So again, you also need the library called as numpy. But can you do that again here? You cannot, right? Key should be definitely unique. You can not again do library again and then pandas. So it should be another one. So I'll put it as visualization. So for data science, what kind of visualization library that we use? We can use Matplotlib, Seaborn, or anything. Okay, there is Plotly as well. So these are the basic three toolkits that we have to understand for a data science. And then I have created this dictionary. You can print it like you want. Print and then F function. Why are we doing this again and again? Just to have practice on. You can just print the dictionary. Dictionary equals to whatever the dict value. DS dict. So this is the dictionary. I hope you understood the question number 3. Let us understand about question number 4. Let us read the question. Check if a number is positive, negative, or 0. So here we are seeing check if. So this is a condition. So we have to check if the conditions are fulfilled or not. We learned about condition in class number 2, right? So if, that is if function, first we are going to take the number, whatever the number, let the user decide the number. So number equals to, again, int of input of double quotation, enter the number. Okay, so after that we are going to check the number. So if It is number if the number is positive, negative, and 0. So if number is positive, that means greater than 0. Simple, right? Then that is when we call it as positive. Then you can put it as print. The given number is positive. Okay. So there is another statement called as elif. So you can do that as well. If you have multiple condition, elif, if number equals to 0, we'll put. If not, we'll put number is less than 0. Alright. So I'm going to just print the exactly same statement, but negative. Else it's 0. Simple. Okay. Print, you can just put it as the number is 0. So that's how we do the multiple conditions here. Let me put -5. The given number is negative. You can check for 0. Let me do that as well. It is 0. Number is 0. So let us get into question number 5. Okay. Create a list of even numbers. Here we are going to create even numbers from 1 to 20 using a loop. Here we are testing for loop topic. Okay. So you know why do we use loop? Here we'd be doing for. Okay. So I'm going to use for. Check a list. Sorry, create a list of even numbers from 1 to 20 using a loop. So I'm going to use for loop for num in range. We are going to take range from 1 to 20, right? 1 comma 20. It will grab each number. I'll tell it'll grab each number, but I'll tell a new method where you don't have to use for loop at all. I'll tell that as well. Okay. For num in range from 1 to 20. And what are we going to do? We are going to create a list only if the number is even number, right? So first I'm going to create an empty list. How do we create a list? You can just put it as list 1, or what do we say, even list, because this is even number, right? Even list equals to empty list. You can do that like this, empty list, or you can just put it as list function, nothing inside list function. That also helps. Anything, whatever you're comfortable. Okay. So in this even list, what are we going to do? Only even numbers. So how do we check even numbers? This is if condition. If number, whatever the number that is given, if that divided by 2 doesn't give, if that divided by 2 doesn't give any reminder, if even number equals to 0. Okay. So why not a single equals to 0 but not 2 equals to 0? When we are comparing, we should have 2 equals to. If number divided by 2 is not equal to 0, then it's an even number. Then we are going to update this even list, right? EVEN list dot append. So this is an append function that we used if you want to add a number to the ending of the list. If you want to add a new number to the ending of the list, then we'd use append. Append of what? Number. Very simple. Okay. And then after this is done, after the whole for loop is done, I want to print the list. You can do print again. I just want to show the list. That's all. I hope until now you might have understood how print works. So 2468, whatever it is. So I told you we'd learn about another method also. It is a simple one like we did in the first list 1 equals to list function of range of from 1 to 20, right? Or you can put as we start from 2, so 2 to 21 Okay, comma, comma 2. Okay, so this what happens, this gives us the list from 1 to 20 second, each second number is taken. So it is the same output. Okay, if you don't want to consider 20, you can just leave out 20. Here I want to consider 20. This is even numbers from the range. So if you want to consider 20, here also I'm going to update it as 21. So here also we get the same answer, here also we get the same answer. All right, that's how this works. Here for understanding loops we did this, so this is also an easy method. Now to 6, which is to calculate the factorial of a number using a while loop. Let us first understand what's factorial. For example, if I want to calculate the 3 factorial, so now I'd be multiplying 3 into 2 into 1. Okay, so we'd go in the reverse order. If not, you can do 1 into 2 into 3 until you reach the number. That also is same. Okay, so now we are going to use while loop. Okay, so now I'm going to first get the number from the user. Number equals to or num equals to same. Input, enter the number. I'll just copy from above. Okay, so this is my number, and then I'll put factorial. I'll start from 1 and end until whatever the number is there. You can do that, or from the ending also. Both are same. So fact, I'll just put fact equals to starting from 1, because it's always starts from 1, right? And then I'm going to put a for loop, and I put number I. This I will start from 1 again. That is because I want to end at 1. Anything multiplied by 0, I don't want that. So I am going to put that 1. Okay. So I'm going to put while, while loop. This while loop. Here I, whatever the number is there, that should be lesser than or equals to whatever my whatever the number that is to be put. If it is 3, it will stop when it is equals to 3. If you want to stop lesser than 3, you can put num plus 1, whatever it is. Okay, so my factorial was actually 1, right? So 1 into, I want to add one more number. So 1 into 1 plus 1, that is 2. 1 into 2, and then 1 into 2 plus 1, something like that, right? So equals to fact into whatever the I value is there. Initially it is 1, and then it is going to increase, right? And then I equals to I plus 1. But you see, we learnt about assignment operators, right? In assignment operators, when this is given, you can put it as fact into fact, fact equals to fact into I. You can write it like this, right? Fact into equals to I, and this also as I plus equals to 1, right? So this can also be possible, both are same. And after the whole thing is done, we have our output would be fact, right? So I just put it as fact. You can just write it as fact, or you can put it as print function, whatever it is. I'll put the 3 just to know 3 into 2 plus 1, that is 6, right? See, my answer is 6. Similarly, you can calculate any, like 100, you can calculate for 100 as well. That's a quite big number, right? Okay. So let us understand about reverse a string using a loop. Now we are going to reverse a string. For example, if Navya is going to be reversed, V A. Uh, sorry, I don't know to spell my name in the reverse as well. Okay, let's see how to be reverse a string. Okay, now I'm going to put a string value here. So string1 string equals to, I'm going to write it as data science. All right. So now you can even put this into an input function, that also will test. Okay. So we are going to use loop here. So reverse, I'm going to put the reverse value, double quotation, nothing. Okay. And then for loop for this value for word in string 1. In this value, we are going to take first value D, okay, and then put it in this reverse string. Okay. And then what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to put a, but adding in the front of it. Okay. This value I'm adding to the front, but not the back. So D will be at the last. A would be after, before D, and again T, and again A, something like this. Okay. So now simply I'm going to put it in a reverse. Reverse equals to, first what are we going to do? The value plus reverse. Okay. So whatever the value is there, that is word. Whatever the first one is there, that is in word. Word plus the reverse. Okay. So after this whole thing is done, after this whole thing is done, we are going to print reverse. Okay. So now we can also see my name. Instead of this data science, you can just put an input, enter any string. You should not enter a number, even though if you enter a number, I don't know how it works, but this is how it is. Okay. Mm, yes. So see, A V Y A Y V A N. All right. So count the number of vowels in a string. Vowels, you know the vowels, right? Of course. A E I O U. So first let us define that vowels. V O W E L S, vowels equals to this. I'm going to put it in capital and in small so that I don't miss any of these string. We know Python is case sensitive, right? So we do not miss any. A E I O U, or even A E I O U. Okay, so here we have capital and small, and then the string. Same, just like here, I'm going to put enter any string. Okay. So now we have to count the number. So let me put another value as count. Count initially will be 0. Of course it is 0. Count initially will be 0, right? So now what are we going to do? To use it using loops, right? So if I put for, sorry, small it has to be, for whatever the words in the string, right? So for letter, Letter, letter in, so for letter in string 1, if you are using a letter in string 1, then we have to check for each letter. If letter, small letter it is, in vowels. Okay. If the letter is in vowels, then count equals to count plus 1. Same. Count plus equals to 1. And after this whole is done, let us see. Count. A, B, C, A, D, F, whatever it is. Okay. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So 5 is the value. Okay. Similarly, you can do it for anything. If you want to check anything in this vowels, you can do the same. All right. So after understanding about question number 8, counting the number of vowels in a string, we are going to jump into question number 9, creating a function. We have to create a function here. What does a function do? It will check if the list is empty or not. Just like we've used a membership function in the earlier question, here also we are going to use that. But defining a function, def is a keyword, and then function checklist, right? So I'm going to put checklist. Okay. So here I'm going to put my list, whatever the list value is there. Okay. And here we'd be checking simple things. If not in, nothing is in my list. All right. Then we are going to return. If nothing is there, that means our list is empty. So we are going to return true. That is what we are actually checking, right? So else we are going to return false. Else there is something in the list. Okay. So now that is going to be returned, and let us define simple our list which is empty. My list you can just create using list function, or you can just give it as a square brackets, empty square brackets. Okay. And then we are going to print the value. So what are we going to print? F function. My list is empty, right? If it is empty. If not, it's not empty. Empty, whatever the true or false, we are going to write here, right? So if it is true, then we are going to call this function. What is the function? Checklist. Checklist of my list. Okay. So after defining a function, we are going to put if not my list. If it is not my list, then we are returning true, and this is false. Okay. So next question is to find the maximum number in the list without using built-in function. We know we had this built-in function max, min, length and all, right? So we are not going to use that built-in function. Instead of that, we are going to find the maximum number using iteratives like for loop, loops, anything. Okay. So how are we going to do it? We are going to define a function here. If you want to define a function, or just first we'll create a list. So we are creating a list. I'm randomly initializing the list. If not, you can get the input from the user. Okay. Okay. So this is my list. I have created my list here. And then now we have to find the maximum number. Let us first initialize the max number is the first number. Let us initialize it like that. Okay. Now we are checking, like in for loop, we are checking. Okay. For loop num in list value. For loop num in list value, we are going to check if that num, we are going to check if num is greater than the max number. Okay, then we are going to change the max number value as the value of num, whatever the initial number we are taking. Okay, we are going to iteratively check it for the whole for loop, and then after the whole thing is done, we are going to just print the max number. All right, let us see if it is true. Sorry, let us check this. So maximum number is 19. I have put 1 2 also just to see if it works or not. So here we have created for loop. Using for loop, we are checking for maximum number. You can even check for the least maximum number as well. So now the check for the question number 11. Let us read question number 11. Use a loop to print a pattern of stars. Now we are going to use a loop. You can use for loop, you can use while loop. Okay. We are going to print the pattern of star. This pattern questions are really important when you are taking interviews for the fresher stage. Okay. So let us understand basic one here. In further in future we cover others. If I want to print like five layers of stars or six layers of stars in the format like a triangle, okay, like a right angle triangle, let's see this basic pattern for now. And if possible, we'll do the entire class for other patterns of star printings and all. Okay, so now I want the layers of n to be only five. Okay, for example, and I want five layers of stars. Okay, so now I'm taking for loop for I in the range from 1, initially from 1 to n plus 1. So instead of this, you can even do 0 to n also. That will also give 5 layers. But why are we doing from 1 to n is because in the first layer, at least I want to print one star. Okay, so and then one more for loop, because we are not doing it linearly, we are doing in the two dimensions. So for j in range of I. So initially in the first layer I want only one star because I is 1. Next I want 2 star. Next I want 3 stars, right? So whatever the number of I is there, that amount of star I want. So in the range of I, I'll just put it like this. Then what I want to print? I want to print star, right? So print of double quotation star. This is what I want to print. And then I want to end, I'd put end here because I want this to go into the next line. That is the reason we put end. And then let's just see how it works. See here, we are printing stars continuously. But I want one star and then two star like this. So I want this to go into the next line. Okay. So either you can do like this, slash n. Then we are printing for each printing of star, we'd go into the next line, right? So what we want whole line of star and then go into the next line. So I'm going to put print in this statement. Okay. So now after every line, a star is going to print for I number of times. All right. So like this, you can use different things, the changing of the I value, changing of the n value, starting from 1. Instead of starting from 1, if you start from n plus 1 to 1 and then you decrease by 1, then also you can print. Let me show you. Okay, similar, I'm just going to copy the whole thing. Now I want my range from n plus 1 to I want n to 0 because last number anyhow it will not be considered, and then minus 1 each time. See? So now just by changing the inputs, changing the range, we can design how our star is going to look, something like this. Similarly, you can print a diamond shape combining all these, anything you can do. Okay. So now let us understand about question number 12. Question number 12 is to create a list of the first 10 square numbers using a loop. Now we have to create a list of first 10 square numbers. For this, we will use loop iteration. We'd use loop iteration and list manipulation. Understanding for creating a list, we'd understand a simple thing here. One is just creating a list here. So I'll just create a list for square numbers. This is empty list. All right. And then I'd be using a for loop for first 10 numbers, right? For I in range 1 to 11. Okay, simple, just like we did earlier. 1 comma 11. If not, you can just take it dynamically as a user input. That doesn't matter. Now whatever the value is there, we have to square it, right? So I'm going to put list dot append of whatever the number is there, square of that number. So I to the power of 2. And then after this thing is done, we have to give the list value. Let me see. So these are the list of square of first 10 numbers. Similarly, you can do multiple. Let us understand question number 13. Okay. So question number 13 is find the sum of all the odd numbers between 1 to 50. We are going to find odd numbers. We know if we are finding even numbers, divided by 2 should give us reminder 0. If it is not, it should not be equals to 0, right? If it is an odd number. So let us use that simple condition here. Okay, now we have to find the sum of all the numbers, all the odd numbers, right? So I'll put here a variable called as sum equals to 0 initially, because sum is 0 here, and we have to find the sum of all odd numbers. So I'll just use for loop here. For I in range, here we are taking range because this is giving us a range for odd numbers, right? For 1 to 50. So other than this, you can directly use like this 1 to 50 comma odd numbers first every second number, like that. We can do that also, but I am using condition here, so we will be clear how to use condition. If I is modulo divided by 2, then it should not be equals to 0. That's all. Not is this exclamation and equals. If this is not equals to 0, then the sum will be added to the number. So sum equals to sum plus 1. Sum plus equals to 1. So this is the sum value, right? So after this is done, I just want to print the sum value. So this is obviously 25. All the even number sum equals to 25, all the odd number sum equals to 25, right? So now write a function to check if the string is a palindrome or not. So what is a palindrome? Palindrome is typically the value or the string. If it is put reverse also, it should be same. All right. We did reversing of string in the question number, I think, yeah, 7, right? How did we do reverse of a string? You can define this as a function and then put here if the string equals to reverse of the string, that is true or not. Okay, but here I am going to show you one more thing. Okay, so let us take the string string 1, string 1 equals to input function of enter the string. Okay, so this is the string value, and then you're going to put a reverse string. Initially I'm going to put reverse string equals nothing, equals to just double quotation, it is nothing. Okay, so instead I can just do this. So reverse string equals to whatever the string value is there, string 1 value is there, to that I'm taking string slicing here. Okay, from start to end I need the whole string, but here I am taking it in a reverse order, -1. We understood about string slicing in the previous class. If you did not see the video, please go into the previous video and check it. So this is string slicing, blank colon -1. This gives us the reverse string. Just we'll check if this is true or not. We'll just check if it is true or not. For example, I'll give Navya. Okay, and this is a reverse value. So yes, that works, right? So now we'll just put a condition here. If okay, string 1 equals to reverse, then our value is true, right? Whatever the value, it is a palindrome. Then print string value is palindrome. If I'm sorry. String is a palindrome. Okay. Now let us test it. I'm sorry, I forgot this. Now let us test it. I'll put MADAM, right? So see, here it is not printing. I'll put a else statements also. Okay, is not. So actually, MADAM is a palindrome, right? Is a palindrome, right? But here it is showing madam is not a palindrome. Why do you think so? Because here capital M is in the start and small m is in the ending. That means reverse has capital M in the ending and string has capital M in the starting. And as a Python is case sensitive, it will not detect as a palindrome. So what I'll do, before checking, I will convert both of the strings into lower. Okay, so string 1 dot lower and reverse dot lower. What does this do? This converts lower and then gives madam as a palindrome. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. If you wanna check palindrome, make sure you convert into lower so the case sensitivity is not a problem. Alright, so next let us check for question number 15. Find the length of the longest word in the list. We have to find the length of it. Okay, so here we are, as we checked the maximum number in the list, now we are going to check the maximum length in the list. Exactly as in the beginning, you can, I'll put this question as after class problem. You can try to do that. Okay, let's get into question number 16. Use a loop to print the Fibonacci series. So what is a Fibonacci series? Example, if you're taking 1 and 1, the next number will be the previous two numbers sum. Okay, 1 and 1, next number will be 1 plus 1 2. So here 1 1 and 2, right? So 2 plus 1 3. Next would be 1 1 2 and 3, something like this. Let me the term. We have to print a total of 10 terms. So you can take this 10 as a number so that user can decide what is the number of terms that they have to do using input function. That can also be done. I'm just going to take it as a 10. N equals to 10. Okay, 10 numbers I need. So initial value n1, my starting value is 0 and the next value is 1, right? N2 is 1 because 0 and 1, these both I definitely have to take it. There is a no chance that we are skipping these numbers. Okay. So what is the next number going to be? The addition of two numbers, right? So I'm going to put it as num n1, num equals to n1 plus n2, right? This is what we have to do. After doing, then we are going to go into the next number. For going into the next number, n1 will be the value initially which was n2, that's going to be n1, right? And n2 will be the number, whatever the number, current number is there. Okay, until when should this numbers be completed? Until our I value n value equals to 10, until 10 terms, right? So I'm going to put a for loop here. For I in range of 10. For 10, if I want until 10, I'll just put 10 so it will cover. Okay, and then colon. So now I want to print them, right? So I'm going to put here print of Fibonacci series for 10 numbers. Yes, and then you can print the numbers. So here I'm going to print only n1 value for every I. Okay. So here I'm going to print n1 value. So print of n1, only n1, and then I'm going to end it with comma. Okay, end with comma. Let's see how it works. Okay. So ending is comma. If you don't want, you can leave it. So these are the first 10 digits of Fibonacci series. Okay. Now create a dictionary to count the occurrence of each string in the each character in the string. Similar to creating a dictionary, similar to counting the vowels in it, you can do the question number 17 as well. So now let us go into question number 18. So question number 17 and question number 15 are going to go into the after class problems, which you can do just like we did in the class to promote active learning, as we talked in the starting of the class. The 17th one is going to be in your after class hands-on. So let us get into the 18th question. So let us understand the question first. Write a program that prints the numbers from 1 to 30. So here we are going to print from 1 to 30. Okay, but we have conditions here. But for multiples of 3, print as fizz of the number, and multiples of 5 it's going to print as buzz. For the numbers that's going to print both multiples of 3 and 5, it's going to print fizz buzz, right? First let us just write the number loop, so it prints the number from 1 to 30. Okay, it's going to be a for loop, right? So for loop, what we are going to take, I in range of 1 to 30, 1 to 31, because last number will not be considered, right? And then we are going to just print the number. We'll see. Print the number, right? Sorry, it has to print the value of I. Okay, so this from 1 to 30, it is printing the range, a value of I. Right. So now what we want, in the multiples of 3, it has to print something, in the multiples of 5 and in the multiples of 3 and 5. First we'll do for both and then we'll check for the value of 5. Okay. So for that we are going to put a condition. If, okay, the I value is the multiple, for checking the multiple, what we'll do, we'll just divide it. The modulo division by 3. If it is equals to 0, that means it is a multiple, right? If that is true, then we are going to print fizz buzz, right? Fizz buzz. And other thing, if again we are going to check if it is for 3 and for I divided by, that is modulo divided by 5, that also should be equals to 0. Then this is multiple of 3 and multiple of 5. First we are going to check both. Okay, now again for multiple of 3 we are going to print as fizz, for multiple of 5 we are going to print as buzz, right? Sorry, that is fizz, right? You can put it as if or you can put it as elif. Buzz, right? So if all these conditions are false, then we'll go to else statement. If all these conditions are false, then we'll go to else statement. That is print, normally print the values. Okay. So let us see. I'm sorry. So this is going to be I modulo divided by 5 should be equals to 0. Should be equals to 0. So see, for the value of 3 it is printing this, for the value of 5 it is printing bus, and 6 is also 3 multiples of fizz, something like this. This is fizz bus 15, 3 into 5, right? For 30 also we'd get fizz bus. Alright, so that's how it is done. Last two questions. One is create a nested loop to print a multiplication table. This is actually the easiest, but I'll show you how it's done. Okay, so for multiples, 1 into 1, 1 into 2, 1 into 3, right? So 1 will be constant, then 1, 2, 3, this is going to change. And in 2 table, 2 into 1, 2 into 3, 2 is going to be constant, 1, 2, 3 are going to change. So 1s and 2, the first place is going to change after every 10, right? And the second place is going to change after every one iteration, right? So keeping this in mind, we are going to create a for loop. So for I in range 10. Okay, 11 because I want 10, right? Oh, here it is given as 5, so I'll just put it as 5. So 6. Okay, next, this is change after every 5, right? So for I, sorry, for J in range, let us put this also as 6 because we are changing the same numbers, right? So now what are we going to do? Print of F. So what are we going to do here? First I want 1, that is I value, right? I value into J value is also 1 initially, but J is changing for every iteration. I into J. So instead of this multiplication symbol, I'll just put X. I into J equals to I into J, right? I into J. Let us see this. Oh, this is printing continuously, right? So here you see it's starting from 0, 0 into 1, 0 into, I don't want from 0. So I'll change this range from 1, comma 6. Okay. So now it is from 1, 6 and this also from 1, comma 6. Right. So here I want all this consecutively. Okay. So now I'll put it as comma and let us see what happens. Space. Oh, this is printing continuously. I want after each thing I want to go into the next line. So we saw in the print option, right? So print sorry, in the star for printing stars. So here you see. Okay, so this is all one table, this is all two table, three table, four table. You can print until n table. That's how it is done. If I put one more space, let me see how it looks. I just want to see how it looks. Same. Okay. So question number 20, which is the last question. Write the program that finds the second largest number in a list. There are multiple ways to finding this, but here we are going to focus on sort function and indexing function, indexing mechanism. Okay, sorting. How do we do sorting? We can just do dot sort. Okay, so I'll create a list here. I actually have a list, right? So where we found the maximum number. Where is the maximum number? I think this it is, right? So I'll just copy this. Okay, I'll put it as list one. So this is the list that I have. I have to get the second largest using sort. So I'll just put it as list one dot sort function. This is an inbuilt function which arranges in an ascending order. Okay. So see, this arranges in an, sorry, list one it is. This arranges in an ascending order. And then I want the second largest one, 15, right? So for finding 15, what we can do? Indexing we can do. List 1 of, if you go from the start, you have to do length minus 2. That will be hard. So what I'll do, I'll come from the ending. So it will be minus 1 and minus 2. So that will be 15. Okay. So this is how we are going to practice for further classes as well. As I told you, if you want to run along me, if you want to learn along with me, then please stick along all of the videos. While watching the videos, take out your laptop, do the programs and watch it. If you have any doubts or questions, do mention it in the comment section below. I'd be happy to help. Okay, so and do not forget to subscribe my channel and hit on the bell icon so you get the notification as soon as I post my videos. So yeah, signing off. Bye bye.